Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Into Dream Team. Game week 31, the agenda for this week. And just to bear in mind, we are recording on Wednesday night, so there's still West Ham, Liverpool and Villa all still to complete their fixtures to wrap up game week 30. I think we've all just about regained our breath from that absolute storm of a match at the Bernabeu last night. Incredible game to watch, and going into game week 31, it's all square in the Champions League with Arsenal and City. Carrying a draw through for the reverse fixture of the knockout stage there. So 7 games to go, and only 1 point separating the top 3 in the Premier League. Has there ever been a more exciting climax to the season, guys?
It's certainly close, isn't it? We could have a photo finish in the end, which will be good to see.
Well, I'm not sure if you're the best man to ask about exciting climaxes, Ross, after a few years of marriage now, but we'll go with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, let's get into it then, shall we, guys? Let's have a little look at the strikers then, shall we? It's a little bit thin on the ground for options, really. Haaland, he's broke his duck. He's scored again, so he's back, and he's got Luton for their first fixture of their double game week. Question marks: will he play? He didn't play in the reverse fixture when City just about managed to get the job done at Kenilworth Road with a 2-1 win without Haaland in that game. Just something to bear in mind. There's a possibility that he could be rested for the midweek game against Madrid. Obviously, we won't be taking him out, but might impact our decisions on captaincy. Salah there, ticking over nicely, averaging 11.6 from last 3 game weeks. Shot points ahoy from Salah. I think Rob said last week, he had his game where he's had like 14 shots. So he's not shot shy at the moment. There's a player playing with confidence. So keep an eye on him. Something I found interesting this week about Salah is 35% owned, whereas Haaland's up in the 80s. So you'd think that those two would be fixtures in most teams, but yeah, pretty interesting. Núñez, he's just ticking away nicely, isn't he? 8.3 for the game weeks. Third best striker in the game now. Decent returns. Just always feel that there's more to come from him. So eventually everything's going to fall into place, isn't it? And he's gonna haul big. But Liverpool with Palace this week, and it took him until the 91st minute to take the lead at Selhurst Park in the return fixture. So might not be all their own way. So could be a tricky tie, or they might want to give him the sword instead. Watkins back with a bang, wasn't he? Did he get a brace?
Yeah. One was a little bit dubious, but it was his goal in the end.
Yeah, got a brace game week 30, didn't he? And still to play again against Lille. So he is the third most transferred in player this week. So decent returns for him again. Always on our radar. But yeah, that's about the best of it, really. You've got Son and Isak both pulling in good numbers, but obviously limited fixtures. So Newcastle and Tottenham facing off against each other this week. Son played 15 times against Newcastle with 5 goals. So, not the best returns from him. And one of the most transferred out players this week. So, probably not going to be wanting to go there. João Pedro is now back for Brighton. Alvarez is probably going to get a good look in the Luton game. Pep's probably going to chuck 90 minutes his way. So yeah, something to bear in mind. And yeah, that's about the best of it really from the strikers front. The best of the rest, on the other hand, you've got the joker in the pack, Chris Wood. 4 in 4 for him.
He's a machine.
He's ticking over nicely. I mean, he's not going to be getting in anyone's teams, is he? Because we're going to be prioritising minutes on the pitch, and that means double game week players. But it's just worth highlighting Chris Wood doing pretty well for himself there. 4 in 4 for him. The old battle axe, Calvert-Lewin, he's back, and he's going to be doing his utmost to put a few points on the board for Everton, only for the FA to then chip away at and knock them off. So we'll see if he continues to stay fit and get decent points. And Antonio, maybe worth a punt. Double game weeks for West Ham. He has turned his form around slightly, and it's the good time of the season to start hitting the ground running. So potentially, if you're needing to make up ground in your mini leagues and you want a player who's a massive differential, then he is a big lad. Antonio could be your big differential. So let's talk about midfielders then, guys. What you got for me this week?
Usual offenders, but a couple of word of warnings just to start off. Foden, obviously top of the tree, top of the entire dream team, but unfortunately looks like he's picked up a knock. They're hopeful he's going to be back for the second leg against Real Madrid, but never really too sure with these type of things. So got to keep a really close eye on that, see where he's going to be at in the press conferences on Friday. And then Douglas Luiz, he's banned for the first game, but back in, and he hasn't really been scoring too great. I know they've still got the European fixtures with Villa, but he's probably not going to be one of the best options on here at the moment. I think the focus really is mostly going to be the double game week players, some old names that have really come back into form. Saka looks like he's finally shaken off all of those injuries and really was looking dangerous. He'd looked out of sorts for quite a while, probably because he was playing with Knox, but now all of a sudden he's really looking dangerous. Should have won a late penalty, most definitely, against Bayern as well. So that would have seen them with the advantage going into the second leg. Got to keep a close eye on that, I guess, for the longer term, because you'd probably say Bayern are just about favourites to knock Arsenal out, I would have said, going into the second leg. So that might be the end of some extra good double game weeks for Arsenal. Odegaard, a good another option for Arsenal centre midfield. Real sparkling player, isn't he? Doesn't score the same. It's quite a difference, really. A difference between 5.8 and 8 compared to Saka for the average points per game. It's quite significant when you add that up over the season. But he's still somebody worth considering. I would just say Palmer and Fernandes, both single game week players, but their stats are pretty ridiculous at the moment, especially Palmer. Fairly consistently outscoring the double game week players, and he just popping up all over the place. Got to be on the plane to the Euros for Jesus Christ, Gareth, sort it out. But yeah, he's a dangerous man amongst a whole load of thorns. He's an old rose amongst thorns in that Chelsea side, and he's pretty much playing as a striker, so you can't ignore him, can you? And then let's just finish off this page with these other game week, double game week players. Luis Diaz, we know about him. Kudus, Bowen's injured. He's probably going to have a little bit more of a central, slightly more attacking. Antonio likely be down the middle, but I just feel like he's going to get points tomorrow, and he's probably going to go into the second game week to the next game week, picking up more points. Double game week again. He's a great player. So I know he hasn't scored great on the first game, but I don't think that'll continue. Paqueta on pens, isn't he? So got to watch out for him. Double game weeks for him. He's still getting back to being fully fit. And KDB, bloody ridiculous, would have got more points, but he threw up in the changing room, didn't he, before the game? So he'd have been on the pitch, and no doubt would have banked some more points. So he would have been even higher up there. And I think, with Rodri looking like he needs a nap, and Foden looking like he's going to be out. KDB will most likely play 180 minutes, won't he? You've got to be thinking close to, or he's going to be getting plenty anyway, especially with those key players. They're not going to want to risk dropping points against a Luton, are they? But best of the rest, littered with kind of pretty much the best of the rest, double game week players here, really. Rice, pretty solid scoring in most of the metrics, not been the best over the last 3 game weeks, but over the course of the season, he has racked up 208 points from a more defensive position, which is quite impressive. Havertz is actually the preferred striking option for Arteta at the moment, isn't he? So you can't ignore that, and they are going to go all out this week, aren't they? They can't afford to drop any points in the Premier League, and they need to beat Bayern. So you've got to be thinking that he'll be getting some chances. So he wouldn't be a bad shout at all. The Liverpool boys we know about, we covered them quite heavily last week. McAllister is keeping up decent form. Szoboszlai has been a little bit disappointing, but you never really know what you're going to get with him. And I think that's more just that Liverpool haven't quite played to their full potential over the last few games. So you got to expect that's going to change. But I think my pick out of these for sure is going to be Bernardo Silva. Goes massively under the radar, and again for a similar reason to KDB, he's going to get plenty of minutes, and he's just very dangerous for points because he gets them in all areas, and he's really starting to get some goals. So watch out for him. But let's go back into the defence and see what we got there.
Good, yeah. So we got the 3 at the top there. The Arsenal boys are looking really healthy right now. See quite a lot of clean sheets recently for them. White's attacking returns, obviously giving him the edge. Got an assist last night against Bayern, didn't he? So they're all looking very good at the moment. Somebody not looking very good is Van Dijk. Worked out he's actually got 5 points over the last 3 game weeks in total. So that's really, really poor. Not the one. Trent's back in training, full training I've read this week, and fingers crossed there's a chance he can make this game week. Gomez, again, obviously very similar story to Van Dijk. Talk of Alisson returning, so who knows, that may improve that Liverpool defence. But like with Trent, I guess we might learn a little bit more, maybe even from the Atalanta game. You never know, one of them could emerge from that. Emerson is another player, another man victim of a team who can't keep clean sheets at the moment. Obviously got good attacking returns usually. Most tackles actually, most tackle points out of all the defenders so far. So like Ross, he shares the love for a big tackle. So Konsa, big favourite in Dream Team. Obviously a big favourite here at Dream Team. Most bonus points out of all the defenders on the game, I believe, but they do have 2 tricky games away at Arsenal and Lille as well, haven't they? So it's a bit tough for them. Diaz, Mr. Diaz, I really like him. Obviously, a shame about his unfortunate own goal last night against Real Madrid, but had him for a while myself. Very, very solid. They've got Luton at home and they've got Real Madrid this game week. So hopefully Guardiola doesn't do the old pet roulette with him and rest him for the Luton game, especially. He was the 4th best defender on the game last season, to the 8th best last season, Akanji. Yeah, so he's obviously in very similar, obviously very similar, kept some clean sheets there, haven't they? And yeah, he's obviously a very good option as well. And yeah, they're keeping obviously up with the form of the Arsenal boys for their clean sheets. So that's pretty impressive. But we've got a player who's even better form for Man City on the best of the rest, please. Here we go. Yeah, like I say, he's even better form at the moment. The old Josko Guardiola. Yeah, I think I said it right. Anyway, he got a goal. He got a goal last night against Real Madrid. So obviously that was the old cherry on the cake for him. Zinchenko, obviously a really good option. I quite like him. 2 games, 2 full games, 2 clean sheets for him since return from his injury. Surprised that he was benched actually against Bayern Munich, but I think Arteta realised his mistake and he brought him on around half-time, and they didn't concede after he came on. So he's actually come off the last couple of times. He started around the 70-minute mark, so he's earning the magic clean sheet points as well. Lewis, bit of a cheat code, this boy, can sometimes play in midfield or as a attacking fullback. Pep needs to have a good look at these figures and the average game points there. Only 1 point behind White this game week, just gone. So yeah, like I say, despite just playing the one game against Crystal Palace, I don't think he'll feature against Real Madrid, but you never know. He could get a full 90 minutes against Luton and go wild. Stones is in there as well. Obviously played a couple of games only in the 3 game weeks. Stepped in for Walker as a right back, got an assist last night against Real Madrid. Could be a good option. Like we said last week, when Ross let the cat out of the bag by putting Zuma in there. Yeah. If you're on a budget,
I did hear he absolutely loves the pussy.
He does love the pussy, yeah. If you're on a budget and you need a double game week defender, you know, wouldn't be a terrible idea by putting in Zuma. Very, very cheap, 1.9 million. And yeah, like I say, as cheap as a packet of Dreamies. So, Adam, can we hear a little bit about the goalkeepers, please?
You can, and it'll be brief. So, big sea of red, isn't it? The keepers do not score us the points, you know, in our teams on Dream Team. Raya is doing okay. You know, he's got the double game weeks, and he's averaging at 7.3 at the moment. So yeah, not a bad shout. He's jumped up to second in the goalkeeper rankings as well. Just hopped over there. Martinez back there after he conceded 3 last week. And Ortega doing okay as well with the clean sheets that City have been keeping up of recently. His price seems to increase every week. So, you know, a Man City goalkeeper, maybe not for much longer because Ederson is looking likely to be back. But yeah, scoring quite nicely. Kelleher making good save points, along with our good friend Onana, sat at the top of the tree there. So, like Rob said, Alisson is being rumoured that he may be back for the game week 31 as well. So, yeah, perhaps we'll all be jumping back on Ederson or Alisson as opposed to their understudies this week. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, let's get away from these dirty keepers, boys. All right, so something to just mention, the extra fixture there slotted in game week 33 for Chelsea and Spurs. That one's the only double game weekers for the game week 33 at the moment. Going into this game week, you've got West Ham versus Fulham. Fulham beat the Hammers 5-0 at Craven Cottage, so I'm sure that the West Ham boys will remember that, and they'll be wanting to return the favour, and be interesting to see what happens there. Also, Arsenal Villa this week, real tough fixture for Arteta's men, especially after a hard game in midweek with, and they'll be keeping an eye over the shoulder for the return fixture against Bayern. So I see this as a real tough game. Emery's going to make that real hard for them. And you may remember in game week 15, Villa secured the 1-0 victory at Villa Park over Arsenal. So yeah, don't be surprised if Arsenal don't get it all their own way this week. And yeah, like I say, Liverpool needed the 91st minute winner at Selhurst Park. So Palace could be tricky opponents for them as well. But yeah, tricky, the old ticker at the moment. There's no one jumping out like, you know, with lots of fixtures. There's a few teams on there who haven't got many fixtures at all. So obviously steer clear of them, and yeah, just use the ticker. It's a handy tool to try and help you get players and get minutes on the pitch. Moving forward then, guys. Top transfers for the week. How are we feeling? Who's jumped off the page this week when you've been punching in your numbers and collecting that data?
I think for me, who's jumped out, a little bit of an unusual one, probably Bernardo Silva. I think because of the other injuries to City, the double game week, the home fixture against Real Madrid, which will no doubt Real Madrid are gonna have to push for goals. They're gonna want to, Man City are gonna win that comfortably, aren't they? So I think he's going to play both fixtures and he's going to score plenty of points, which would be on trend for the last 3 game weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you might think it's a bit weird to see Salah on the top transfers. Like, why would it be on there? But like I said earlier, I was pretty shocked to see that his ownership's only at 35%. You'd have thought that'd be up there, amongst the Haaland numbers now. He's been averaging over 10 for every game week pretty much, the last 5-6 game weeks. Big returns. And something to bear in mind, Salah has played Palace 13 times with 8 goals and 5 assists. So healthy returns against the old Eagles. So yeah, if you haven't got Salah in your team, guys, and you're still participating weekly and making them transfers, yeah, come on. Get him in, yeah. Get the old Egyptian in.
I'm liking KDB. So he's the luxury I can afford because I've got him in my team, and he's done very well. Done very well for me last week. Thanks for the 20 points, Kevin. And love the hair, by the way. And yeah, I'm going to go a bit Columbo on you, right? Because I do have a hunch with KDB. I do fancy him to do well against Luton as long as he starts, because obviously, don't know about you boys if you remember that FA Cup game when he got 4 assists for Haaland, didn't he? And them two were like telepathic that day. And yeah, at the end of the day, he missed that game against Real Madrid, but he could be a bit fresher in the legs. So yeah, I was looking at his stats. Obviously, he's only really played since January, hasn't he? And he's got like 108 points since January, so in the 3 months. So you just can't argue with that. You can just imagine him getting it. I think even if he played against, if he played both games, actually, I was looking at it, he's got a very good record against Real Madrid. He's got 3 goals, 4 assists in 8 games versus Real Madrid. And obviously against Luton, like I say, then 4 assists and no goals in that 1 FA Cup appearance. So, he could be a very good option. I do like White. He's probably like your most premium defender. He kind of ticks a lot of boxes. Could be a good hold just to get him in to the end of the season. The trouble is the Man City ones, defenders, they're always prone to the old rotation, aren't they? Whereas obviously with White and Saliba and Gabriel, they're pretty much nailed on, aren't they? So yeah, I was liking Zinchenko, but until he's 100% fully fit, I think White's definitely your best defender option for me for this game.
Yeah, I think the last one to mention, although not picking up the points in the first game, I think Kudus, he is just quality, isn't he? So that doesn't disappear in one game. So he'll be getting some points tomorrow, I reckon.
Anyway, moving on to the captains.
Here they are. Likely lads. Not much to really go on about here, but I would say I've watched plenty of Saka this week, and he's obviously been carrying knocks the last few game weeks, and he looks finally like he's shaken them off. Great performances, goals. This will probably now continue to the end of the season if he stays fit.
I think you're kind of splitting hairs between Haaland and Salah, but maybe I'd just be leaning more towards Haaland, because if he does play against Luton, he played in that game, didn't he? He got 5 goals. So Salah's got a good record, I think, against Palace, but it's kind of, roll the old dice really with them two, in my opinion.
Yeah. Stay away from Foden. He's obviously setting games on fire at the moment on some of the best form of his life, but we can't guarantee the minutes on the pitch this week. So although he would be a real good option, just can't really risk it. So yeah, Salah, Haaland, or Saka, all 3 of them probably going to return all right. So yeah, go with your gut, I guess, guys. Nah, not the week, is it?
Not this week. No.
Not the best week.
Well, final thoughts. Let's just give a quick mention to our old pal Johnny. You may remember from one of our earlier videos, we mentioned our old pal Johnny. So yeah, let's just give him a quick mention because it was the East Anglian Derby last week, and 15 years, Johnny.
15 years, and East Anglia is yellow and green. Thank you
And
very
he
much.
went, didn't he? He went to the game, didn't he?
He
Yeah.
was there, yeah, he was there, sat in with the Norwich fans, keeping him very quiet.
Yeah, poor old Johnny. He's not over it yet.
So, yeah, game week 31. It's pretty much the same as last week, isn't it? We've got the single fixtures in the Premier League for the non-European teams, and then the reverse, second legs in the Champions League. So, yeah, all to play for in the Champions League. Huge games for Arsenal and City. It's going to be a joy to watch, and looking forward to tomorrow night and seeing how the guys get on the Europa and Europa Conference League, and hopefully that'll give us some nice top ups on our scoring for game week 30, and a fairer idea of who to bring in for game week 31. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the Friday press conferences and updates on injuries. Maybe Pep will give us an idea of who he's going to play. Also, yeah, just thanks to everyone for all the views this week. We had a little bit of a viral sensation on our hands, boys.
Watch out for us.
Yeah, don't quite know what happened there, but yeah, great to see. Anything worth mentioning from the world of X this week, Rob?
X. Yes, yeah, we've got a couple of nice comments and shout outs from various people on that platform. DT Starboy, he's liking our content, which is very much appreciated, and big fan of the show as well. Big support of ours is Dream Team Advice. He's always very, very kind, so thank you very much. And have we got anything else on the old socials, Adam?
Well, Karen Drayton's been doing her best to bang our drum, hasn't she? So we'll carry on letting her keep banging the drum, Karen. And
always appreciated.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thank you for that. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up, guys. All right then, guys and girls. Well, thanks for viewing and giving us half an hour of your time. All the very best for your transfers for this week and your captain choices. Let's hope that game week 31 is a nice success for you. And we'll see you again next week on Into Dream Team. And may the points be with you.
And with you.
Goodbye, goodbye. It's time to run. Goodbye, goodbye. I hope you had good fun. So.
Say goodbye. I'm happy that you came. I say goodbye. Please come back. Please come back. Please come back again. Goodbye. Goodbye.